In a distant corner of the galaxy where stars burned like embers in an endless cosmic fire, there existed a small, unassuming planet known as Terra 7. To most civilizations across the universe, it was just another dot on their star charts, a backwater world orbiting a yellow dwarf star. But to those who knew better, Terra 7 held something extraordinary: humanity. Humanity had grown from primitive cave dwellers into architects of wonders, builders of skyscrapers that scraped the heavens, and creators of machines capable of bending time itself. Yet despite their achievements, or perhaps because of them, they remained fiercely protective of their species. They were not ready to share their secrets with just any extraterrestrial visitor. For centuries, they had devised a rigorous test called the Gauntlet, a trial designed to determine whether an alien race was worthy of meeting real humans. Commander Xylith of the Zenari Collective adjusted her shimmering silver helmet as she gazed out at the swirling blue-green orb below. Her elongated limbs twitched with anticipation, and her 6 eyes flickered nervously. She had spent decades preparing for this moment, studying every scrap of data intercepted from human transmissions. The Zenari were one of the oldest and wisest races in the galaxy, yet even they had been denied access to Terra 7 until now. "Are you certain about this?" asked Vorthan, her second in command, his voice crackling through the ship's comms. "Humans are unpredictable." Xylith turned sharply, her translucent wings fluttering slightly. "Unpredictable is what makes them fascinating," she replied. "If we pass the gauntlet, we will finally have the opportunity to learn from them. Their technology, their culture, it could elevate us beyond anything we've ever imagined. But if we fail," Vorthan trailed off, his tone heavy with implication. "If we fail," Xylith said firmly, "then we are unworthy. Now prepare the shuttle. It's time." The gauntlet began subtly. As Xylith and her team descended onto Terra 7's surface, they found themselves standing in what appeared to be a bustling city square. Towering structures loomed overhead, adorned with holographic advertisements and neon lights. Strange creatures, some bipedal, others not, moved about, speaking in languages the Zenari couldn't comprehend. A holographic figure materialized before them, a tall humanoid with sharp features and piercing eyes. Its voice boomed, echoing through the air. "Welcome, travelers. You stand at the threshold of humanity. Prove your worthiness by completing 3 trials. Failure means exile. Success grants you an audience with the humans. Proceed when ready." Without hesitation, Xylith stepped forward. "We accept." Trial 1. Empathy. The first trial took place in a dimly lit room filled with rows of glass tanks. Inside each tank floated a different life form, suspended in liquid. Some were grotesque, others beautiful, but all seemed to exude some form of distress. A panel above the tanks displayed instructions. Choose one being to save. Explain your reasoning. Xylith scanned the creatures carefully. There was a spindly insectoid writhing in agony, its multiple legs tangled in invisible bonds. Beside it floated a gelatinous blob pulsating erratically, emitting faint cries of pain. And then there was a tiny mammal-like creature curled into a ball, trembling violently. "This is absurd," muttered Vorthan. "How can we possibly decide?" Xylith hesitated. Saving one meant condemning the others. A cruel paradox. Finally, she pointed to the trembling mammal. "Its fear resonates with me," she explained softly. "Fear is universal. If we cannot empathize with terror, how can we hope to understand humanity?" The hologram nodded approvingly. "Empathy demonstrated. Proceed to the next trial." Trial 2. Creativity. The scene shifted abruptly. Gone was the sterile laboratory. In its place stood a vast, empty plain dotted with strange objects: tools, instruments, scraps of metal, and glowing orbs. In the center of the field stood another holographic guide. Create something meaningful, using only these materials. Time, limit, 30 minutes. Xylith frowned. This was unlike anything she'd encountered before. The Zenari prided themselves on logic and efficiency, not artistry. Still, she approached the task methodically, gathering items and assembling them into a structure resembling a tree. The trunk was made of twisted metal rods, while the branches consisted of glowing orbs strung together with thin wires. When the timer expired, the hologram examined their creation. "What does this represent?" it asked. "It represents growth," Xylith said confidently. "A tree grows upward, reaching for light, much like knowledge and understanding expand within sentient minds. We seek to grow alongside humanity." The hologram paused, then spoke. "Creativity acknowledged. Proceed to the final trial. Trial 3. Morality." For the final trial, Xylith and her crew were transported to a war-torn battlefield. Explosions rocked the ground, sending plumes of smoke billowing into the sky. Soldiers clad in mismatched armor fought fiercely, their faces obscured by helmets. Amidst the chaos stood a lone child, crying hysterically as flames licked at the edges of a crumbling building. Save the child or stop the war. Choose wisely. Xylith froze. This was no mere puzzle. It was a moral dilemma designed to strip away pretenses and reveal true priorities. Stopping the war would save countless lives, but it might also leave the child to perish. Saving the child would mean abandoning thousands to their fate. After a long silence, Xylith made her decision. She sprinted toward the child, scooping it up in her arms and shielding it from falling debris. Behind her, the battle raged on, but she focused solely on the terrified little face staring up at her. "Why did you choose the child?" the hologram asked once they were safe. "Because sometimes," Xylith replied, "the smallest act of kindness can ripple outward, changing the course of history. Wars end eventually, but a single life saved today may inspire peace tomorrow." Judgment. The holograms dissolved, replaced by a blinding white light. When it faded, Xylith and her team found themselves standing in a grand hall filled with humans. They were diverse in appearance, some tall, some short, some dark-skinned, others pale. But all wore expressions of quiet. Curiosity. "You have passed the gauntlet," announced a human elder, stepping forward. "Your actions demonstrated empathy, creativity, and morality, the core values upon which our civilization thrives. Welcome, friends. Let us begin." As the humans extended their hands in greeting, Xylith felt a surge of pride and humility. Humanity was indeed extraordinary, but so too were the lessons she had learned along the way. Perhaps, she thought, the greatest gift Terra 7 could offer wasn't knowledge or technology, but the wisdom to wield them responsibly. And so, under the watchful gaze of the stars, two vastly different species embarked on a journey of mutual discovery, one that would shape the destiny of both forever.